If you are getting punched all the time, you're struggling to land your shots, and you don't find yourself improving, well then this is the video for you. Inside this video, I'm going to teach you how to improve 10 times faster by showing you some actionable shifts that's literally going to change your sparring, it's going to change your fight game. So let's get into the video. Letting your hands go. So if you are a beginner to intermediate and you're still struggling to land your shots inside the ring, there could be a couple of reasons why you can't get your punches off, and I'm going to give you a solution that's going to help you land more punches. Now, one of the reasons being is that your opponent is moving around too much, they're moving away too often, and you just can't land your shots. You're not in range, you don't have the footwork just yet to put yourself in that position to land them shots. Second to that, you're maybe fighting an aggressive opponent where you're forced to defend most of the time. This is not allowing you to get your shots off, and you are struggling to land them punches because of that. Now, this is going to be something that's not groundbreaking what I'm about to say. If in doubt, jab it out. So if you are struggling to land your shots, you need to go back to the jab, go back to the basics. Now, we need to establish a really good jab, and even if the only shot you're throwing inside sparring is just a jab, but listen, this is the actionable shift that's going to change everything. If you're only landing a jab, but previously you're not landing threes and fours, but now you're landing every time you throw the jab, you are winning, you are actually improving, you are becoming a better sparring partner, you're becoming a better fighter. 3 ways we can use our jab inside sparring to have success against any opponent. So if I'm fighting someone that is moving around a lot, I want to probe with my jab. So when I'm throwing my jab out, I want to flick it nice, okay? I don't want to commit overly with my jab, trying to land heavy every time with the jab. I want to probe it out, see where they're at, and just move around, walk around with me, okay? So if my opponent's more advanced and they've got good footwork, good head movement, I'm just going to probe it out, okay? Flick it out, see where they're at. If I can touch their gloves, brilliant. I'm now in range to boom, commit, and actually throw the jab. Second to that, when you're a beginner, often what we see beginners doing is as they throw their jab, they start to wrench their head up to avoid a punch, okay? So they go like this, okay? Stop that. Tuck that chin, okay? Frown through the eyes, throw your jab straight, tuck in your chin behind that big strong shoulder. That way you're not going to get countered over the top. Okay, next to that, if I'm fighting an aggressive opponent, I want to lighten my jab up and move my feet. So as the aggressive opponent is pressuring me back, I'm just going to throw my jab out, keeping them at bay. Okay, even use it as a frame, posting it and moving around. Okay, stopping them from coming in with shots over the top. As a beginner, as an intermediate fighter, what should I work on? Most important for sparring. Is it going to be landing more shots? Is it going to be moving my head? Well, what I'm going to tell you is that you need to prioritize footwork. Once you establish really good footwork, you are going to have way more success, and you're going to improve 10 times faster than someone that's purely working on combinations. If I have 10 combinations that I'm very, very good at, but I can't move my feet, then none of them combinations are going to be important to me inside sparring, inside a fight. I have to be able to move my feet. So if we want to get closer to our opponent, often what you find beginners doing is rushing in, okay? So rushing in, trying to big explosive movements and then getting caught, okay? We also find that you're maybe trying to overextend with every shot, okay? This is so common, something I see most often when beginners or intermediate fighters are sparring, is they really overcommit with every shot, landing heavy with every shot, they're out of range, off balance. All we want to do is small adjustments with our footwork. So if you can do this one simple drill inside sparring, even on the bag, on the pads, you're going to have so much more success, cutting the distance a lot better, a lot cleaner, and you can always speed it up. So left foot, shift, right foot shifts, left foot shifts, right foot shifts. We can now do it on the back. I'm going to push off, okay, back, left, back, okay? And again, so lead foot, back foot, lead foot, back foot, lead foot, back foot, back foot, lead foot, back foot, lead foot. Now we can start to add a couple shots in with that. So as I go to move my lead foot, I'm going to throw my lead hand. So it's going to be 1. We're going to move the back foot. Now it's going to be 2. 1, 2, 1, 2. And defense on the back, okay? And now stepping forward, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. We can start to move through the motions a lot faster. We can start to shift our feet a lot faster. And again, I've made piles of videos of footwork, but this is just going to get us in and out of range faster. So when we're sparring, we're able to get in and out. And going off the first tip about if in doubt, jab it out, this is another good way just to use our footwork and use our jab together. So just stepping in, stepping out, stepping in, stepping out, okay? What we have to remember is boxing is the art of hit and don't get hit. So now you're up against an aggressive opponent inside sparring. They're maybe not trying to knock you out, but their pressure is super aggressive. How can we stop this from happening? Are we going to fight back? As a beginner, are we going to stand and trade with this person, or are we going to use our footwork, which I've just talked about being one of the most important things that you should prioritize inside sparring? So we're coming up against an aggressive opponent. The pressure's pretty heavy. They're maybe landing big shots, and we can't get our shots off. We're struggling with our defence because we're still only learning the sport. What can you do? What I'm going to advise you to do is circle in and around this person by using your footwork. Okay, so this simple drill, so you've maybe seen fighters doing this before, you've maybe done this as a warm-up, and all we're going to be doing is moving side to side. The key here is try our best not to clip the feet off each other, literally just circling in and around them. Okay, so we're fighting an aggressive opponent, he's coming at us. It may be fatiguing, but we're not getting hit. And we're just going to move in and around. Every now and again, come in with a jab. Okay, move away. Circle your feet in and around. Jab, move away. Okay, and that's stopping an aggressive opponent coming at us. Now, I was in a fight with this opponent that I knew he wasn't overly advanced. He didn't have much fights. And for the first round, he was literally moving his feet like that, but much faster. And I was having a really hard time getting to him. Now, eventually I did get to him because he did fatigue, he got tired, and I knew how to set up shots to the body, tire him down. But the key there is I wasn't able to tag him. And I mean, this guy was in this competition, he was through in, and he wasn't that advanced. But still, he was giving me hard work because he was moving his feet. So only that I was more advanced, I was able to cut off the ring, go to the body, slow him down. Then I started having success. But up until that point, this beginner was giving me a challenge by just moving his feet. So inside sparring, I want you to apply that if you are having a hard time. You have to keep in mind that when you're throwing shots inside the ring, it becomes extremely fatiguing when you're only using your upper body. Footwork is so important to land heavy shots, to land shots with precision, and most of our work comes from our legs. So what I want you to think about is every time you throw a shot, that it's not just your arms, it's your legs that is also involved in every punch, okay? So as I throw my backhand, it's the rotation of the hip that's actually throwing the shot, that's throwing the power, that's bringing the power into that shot. So it's not just my armlet, not just loading back here and trying to land heavy. This is going to fatigue you a lot more in sparring. Try to utilise rotation. Try to utilise the small baby steps when throwing the jab, when throwing the backhand. And you're not going to fatigue, and you're going to find yourself having way more success. Choose your sparring partner correctly. Now, when it comes to finding the right sparring partners, you may not always have the choice. Depending on your gym, it might be just whoever is there on that given night. But if you do have the option of being around certain people that you're going to spar, I would advise you to spar with someone that's more advanced than you. Now, you may be thinking to yourself, well, hold on a second. If I'm sparring someone that's way more advanced than me, then I'm going to be getting beat every night. And that's 100% going to be the case. But here's the thing. If you're sparring someone that's a beginner, you're going to be sparring someone the same level as you. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, well, that's going to give me an easier night. But it's not always the case. It doesn't always work like that. If you spar someone that's the same level as you, they may be out to try to get you. They don't have the techniques, the knowledge, the ability to control a situation a lot better. So if you hit them hard, they may come after you a lot harder. You may find yourself getting into more wars. You may find yourself getting into more sessions that aren't about learning, but more about survival. And this isn't going to be good for your boxing career. This isn't going to be good for you progressing in the long run. Versus if you are sparring someone that's more advanced, and you don't load up, you don't try to hurt them, you don't try to knock them out, they know that you're a beginner based off your techniques, maybe even just by talking to you. They are going to give you a far better sparring session, a schooling and a learning session where you're actually going to learn from them. They're maybe jabbing you, throwing certain shots, moving their footwork, and you're going to learn a lot more. And even afterwards, if you spar someone like this, go over and ask them certain questions. What can you do better next time? And this is going to excel your sparring 10 times faster than if you are always ego sparring. Now, I get it. Every now and again, it's fantastic to test yourself. See where you are at. See how tough you are. See how physical you have become. And that is fantastic. And I think it's an amazing part of sparring that you have to do every now and again, because you don't know how good you are until you're getting punched, until you're up against something that is going to challenge you physically and mentally. However, it's not wise to do this for the long run. So it's really important that you choose the right sparring partners. It's really important that you yourself drop your ego. And you might be thinking to yourself, well, if I land heavy on these beginners, I'm going to be the best of the beginners. But It might always be that you're entering into a war every time. So even if you are sparring someone that's the same level as you in terms of skill set, think of the things I'm teaching: the jab, moving your footwork, basics. Once you master the basics, you are going to have way more success as a fighter. I'm now going to show you 3 combinations that you can apply inside sparring. If you are struggling to let your hands go inside sparring and you're struggling to get combinations going, you don't have the distance yet, you don't have the footwork yet, and it's just something that takes a lot more time to work on sequencing the combinations together, what combinations to throw, and finding yourself actually getting caught every time you throw certain combinations. So I'm going to show you 3 simple combinations that actually work inside sparring and why they work. So where I find most beginners struggling with combinations is more mid-range. Mid-range to close range is where you're going to find it a lot harder to throw certain combinations, and again, it's mainly because you haven't got a tight enough defense, you don't have distance awareness just yet, and you're maybe a lot more scared to get closer to your opponent to throw these combinations because you're worried about getting caught yourself. So that is why you're having a hard time throwing mid-range combinations. An example of this would be a backhand, a lead hook, a back uppercut. Okay, that's just an example. Or we could have body, head, hook, anything kind of mid-range, sort of this position here, close range. Combinations are a lot more harder to land, again, mainly because of distance. So I'm now going to show you 3 simple combinations that you can actually land that keep you safer, and the reason being they are safer is because they're from the long range. Now, you can still be caught massively and explosively from long range, absolutely, if you're doing the wrong things, and that's keeping your head up, not getting your hands back, but they generally are safer and a lot easier to land because you're using your full leverages, and most times, if you miss these shots, you're not too close that you're going to get caught with something devastating, okay? So the first combination is going to be a double jab backhand, okay? So we keep it long, we try not to rush in, and we just simply go 1, 2, 3, okay? Now, this is a simple combination, very basic, you've seen this 100 times before, but I advise you to apply that inside training, and even if you don't land, try to get closer every time with this combination. So the first time you throw the jab, it doesn't land at all. The second time you just touch the gloves, and the third time they move away, that's actually fine because you're learning the distance control. You're learning, okay, the first jab didn't hit at all, but then I committed with the second jab as my power jab. They felt it and they moved away in the third jab. The first jab should be a probe jab where as you hit their gloves, you should be hitting their gloves with the first jab. That allows you to immediately throw the second jab, and then the backhand, okay? So if I'm sparring and I throw my first jab and it misses completely, what is the point of committing heavily with my second jab and then trying to throw the backhand? I have to be able to touch them with the first jab. So when you're practicing the combination, you want to make sure that you're actually throwing the shot and it's actually landing correctly. So as I throw my jab, I've touched the glove, stepping in, backhand, okay? Second combination is just chaining up that first combination with a lead hook, okay? So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, okay? Now with that hook, it's not a mid-range hook, it's a nice long left hook. It's a simple 4-punch combination that doesn't give away too much space. And again, if we can land the first one, we can land this last one because it's just a lead hook, okay? Now a lead hook is going to be a lot closer than a rear hook, okay? A lot easier to land, and we just want to touch our opponent when we're throwing this shot. So we're going 1, 2, 3, 4, and away, okay? And it's a nice long looping lead hook, okay? So it's not too short where we have to give up too much space, but it's getting us introduced into throwing hooks. Now, the last shot is going to be based off this first combination. It's going to be a jab to the head, a jab to the body, and a backhand, okay? So when we're hitting the body, we're going to hit the solar plex. This is going to introduce some body work, and it's going to slow our opponent down. It's going to give them more things to think about, especially as a beginner. You might not be too skillful in terms of setting up deceptions or disguising punches too well. So this is going to be a nice wee combination that's going to introduce some body work. We're not going too low that our head is being exposed as a beginner. You may not have the speed, you may not have the technique or distance to throw certain body shots, and this may expose you, open you up, whereas this one doesn't give away too much position because of our hands being here. So as our hands are here, we're going to throw our first jab to the head. The second jab is going to come a bit lower. Now with this, we're going to dip the knees slightly, and then we're going to throw the backhand to the top of the head. So we're going jab, body, head. So there's 3 simple combinations that you can apply inside sparring. They're very similar to each other, but the reason being for that and why I gave you them similar to each other is that you can improve a lot faster. If you're throwing a wide range of different combinations, it can start to become very chaotic. It can be moving you backwards in the direction that you don't want to be going. But by using these 3 simple combinations that are similar to each other, you're going to get way better a lot faster. We're adding a couple of variations in there by throwing a lead and mid-range hook, which is going to be something that's going to introduce you more into closer range, but not giving too much space. We also applied some body work there as well, which is going to start introducing you to actually throwing body shots without giving up too much distance, too much space as a beginner. Now, this is a blueprint to improving your sparring, blueprint to improving you as a fighter. So I'm going to give you 3 extra bonus tips that will excel your fighting, excel your sparring. These are mistakes I made in the beginning, and if I was to go back and change them, I would. Tip number 1 is prioritize mainly footwork as your key skill set. Too much in the beginning, I focused on punching technique, punching power, and yes, this is good. However, when it comes to true boxing and the art of boxing, which is hit and don't get hit, footwork is going to be your best friend. If you can prioritize footwork as your main skill set, you're going to have way more success. It's going to allow you to control the distance a lot better, get out your range of shots, and be in range that you can land combinations, angles, and work your footwork to the best of your ability, because honestly, this is the thing that will excel you to the elite level. Tip number 2 is when you're in sparring, don't admire your work. Even in a fight, when you're point scoring, don't admire your work. You throw a really good combination, 1, 2, 3, stand there, look at your shot, then get caught yourself. This is a mistake I made a lot. Threw a really good shot, then get caught with a really good shot. You've just done away with all the good work you've done by throwing that combination in the first place. Even if someone's shouting, whoa, amazing shot, amazing clapping outside the ring, and you hear that, don't stand there, get your hands up, move away from that shot that they're going to throw. Don't admire what you've just done. Get your hands up, move away, on to the next one. And last tip is, I would actually focus more on blocking, getting my hands up, than moving your head as a beginner. Now, specifically as a beginner, as a more advanced fighter, of course, head movement is going to be key. It's going to be something you're practicing a lot anyway inside, your training, maybe with your coach. However, blocking, parrying, just shielding up is going to be way more beneficial as a beginner. Sometimes as a beginner, what you could be doing, and I've done this myself, is moving your head thinking you're doing a good thing and then actually walking on to certain shots. Sometimes it can also create bad habits, because if I'm thinking, well, if I move my head, I'm not going to get caught shots, but then I start dropping my hands, then I actually start getting caught a lot of shots. I don't have the reactions yet, I don't have the systems in place, and I don't have the awareness of why I'm moving my head a certain way in the first place. You could just be moving your head like this, thinking I'm doing a really good thing here, but getting caught left, right, and center because you have your hands low. You have to learn how to move your head the correct way, why you move your head a certain way, and a system in which head movement actually works, and that takes years. But as a beginner, I would focus mainly on getting the hands up, blocking, parrying. This is going to be a lot safer. It's going to actually be more beneficial, because by just getting your hands up, you've developed strength conditioning. You've also developed a basic defense. And then from there, when you start to move your head, you've got head movement and hand defense, which is going to excel you as a fighter. Thank you so much for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed this blueprint to improving your sparring. I hope you're on the journey to success as a boxer. Practice and enjoy.